Saturday Night Live is known for featuring some of the best comedy talent the world has to offer, but you'll be shocked to learn that some of those talented comedians ended up being fired from the show. Big names too. I'm Mackenzie, and let's get into the top 10 celebrities who were fired from Saturday Night Live. In at number 10, Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis is the most recent cast member to be fired from the show, but his case is even more unique because he was fired from the show before he even made his first appearance. Gillis was set to appear on the 2019 season of the show, but after he was announced, racist tweets mocking Asian people resurfaced, as well as a video. An SNL spokesperson said in a statement on behalf of the show, quote, "After talking with Shane Gillis, we have decided that he will not be joining SNL," with the show adding that they were not aware of these statements before they decided to hire him. In a statement made after the decision, Gillis said, quote, "I respect the decision they made. I'm honestly grateful for the opportunity. I was always a Mad TV guy anyway." In at number 9, Adam Sandler. Yes, that's right, one of the most successful comedians ever, Adam Sandler, was fired from SNL. Sandler was fired in 1995 when he was 28 after being on the show for 5 years. Reflecting on the firing, he said on the Howard Stern show, quote, "At the time I was hurt because I didn't know what else I was going to do." He added, quote, "Yes, we were fired. We kind of quit at the same time as being fired. It was the end of the run for us. The fact that me and him got fired, who knows? We were on it for a few years, had a run, and everything happens for a reason. We kind of understood because we did our thing. It hurt a lot at the time because we were young and didn't know what we were doing, but it all worked out." And the we here speaking of is Chris Farley. But he seemed to be a good sport about things, and when he hosted SNL in 2019, he sang an entire song about how he was fired. In at number 8, Jenny Slate. When actress Jenny Slate was cast on SNL, she thought she would be entering the wild, wild west, but was shocked to learn just how restrained the cast members actually were, because it is network TV after all. Slate was fired after she broke the golden rule of live TV, no swearing. In 2009, during her very first sketch, she dropped the F-bomb. She said that immediately after, she understood what a big deal that it was, saying in an interview later, quote, "It felt like an explosion when I actually said the F word on live TV during my very first sketch. After it happened, Lorne Michaels wanted to make sure I was okay because he knew I was scared. I had never been exposed so publicly. The aftermath was hard. People tweeted out that I was ugly and not funny, and it really stung." She even said that she never rewatched the clip of her swearing because she couldn't bear that humiliation. However, she did confirm later that the F-bomb was not actually the reason that she was fired, she just simply didn't belong there. In at number 7, Chris Rock. The story of why Chris Rock was fired is a great reminder that you should never talk about wanting to leave your job. Chris Rock became a cast member in 1990 and remained on the show for 3 seasons. But in 1993, he was let go from the show because he expressed interest in joining another sketch show called In Living Color, but that gig didn't work out. And In Living Color was taken off the air only 3 weeks after he joined. In 2019, Rock returned to SNL to joke about his firing in a song with Adam Sandler, where he said in part, quote, "I was fired by NBC, I went on In Living Color, 3 weeks later they took it off TV. But of course, it all worked out and he became an incredibly successful actor." And at number 6, Laurie Metcalf. Academy Award nominated actress Laurie Metcalf was cast on SNL in 1981. However, her debut performance on the show was her last. After her first episode, the show immediately went on hiatus for a writer's strike, and when the show returned, she wasn't asked back. She spoke about the experience in an interview with Vulture years later, explaining that she was only in the city for 1 week, and for one of the sketches, she was sent out on the street with no idea what she was doing. Adding, quote, "When I see that, I realize I was very naive and brave about it in a way." She has gone on to be nominated for an Academy Award and 11 Emmys, winning 3. So I'm sure she's not bitter about it now. Halfway at number 5, Sarah Silverman. Sarah Silverman joined SNL in 1993 as a writer and cast member, but at the end of that season, she was fired from the show. To make things worse, she was fired by fax. Like, they didn't even have the courtesy to give her a phone call. Silverman said her firing was part of a big cast shakeup, and she even understands the decision, saying, quote, "By the way, I wrote not a single funny sketch, so that might have had something to do with it too." But she quickly made a name for herself outside of the show, and she's now famous for her brash stand-up comedy. And at number 4, Robert Downey Jr. It's insane to ever think that Iron Man could get fired from a job, but he did. In 1985, Downey Jr. was hired at the age of 20 for the show's 11th season, but he only ended up lasting 1 year. Downey has never admitted to being fired, but did admit that he was, quote, "ill-suited to the show," telling off camera in 2019, quote, "I learned so much in that year about what I wasn't. I was not somebody who was going to come up with a catchphrase. I wasn't somebody who was going to do impressions. I was somebody who was very ill-suited for rapid-fire sketch comedy. I was like, this seems really hard. And at number 3, Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans was hired in 1985, but only lasted one season because he changed a sketch without getting it approved. The issue was that he changed a straight character into a very flamboyant gay character without telling producers. The result was that Lorne Michaels fired Wayans for insubordination, according to GQ. Wayans told The Weekender in 2015, quote, "I knew I was going to get fired for it. Lorne did the right thing." And if you're wondering why he would do something that he knew was going to get him fired, Wayans said he made the decision because he was angry, adding, quote, "They didn't let me do what I wanted to on SNL, which I came to learn was Lorne Michaels' way of protecting me from looking like I was trying to be the next Eddie Murphy." Later adding that the show would not let him do things that Eddie Murphy would do. But he got frustrated and decided to make his own script. But thankfully that wasn't the end for Wayans. Instead, he went on to star in the sketch comedy In Living Color for 3 seasons. And at number 2, Rob Riggle. Rob Riggle is another actor who only lasted 1 season on the show. He was hired in 2004, a former US Marine at the time. He blamed the fact that he was the only new person in the all-star cast, telling the Daily Beast in 2019, quote, "This is the first showbiz gig I ever got, so it's overwhelming to begin with. It's an unbelievable pace and pressure. I got to a point where I didn't even know what was funny anymore by the end of the season," saying he was working alongside huge names like Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, so obviously he was the one that was going to be getting the boot. Thankfully, his comedy career didn't end there. Riggle then went on to become a correspondent on The Daily Show and is now a commentator on Fox NFL Sunday. And finally at number 1, Michaela Watkins. Michaela Watkins joined the cast in 2008, but only lasted 1 season before Michaels let her go. Watkins told Entertainment Weekly after she was let go, quote, "The only explanation I got from him, and he's not known to say things just to make people feel better, was that he felt deep down that I should have my own show. And I agreed. SNL was a dream come true for me. It was a fantastic year. I don't have any regrets." She told Decider in a more recent interview that she thought joining SNL would be, quote, "her big break," and felt that it was going well. But at the end of the season, she was shocked when her contract was not renewed. Adding, quote, "Maybe I was delusional. I really wanted to go back. I would have been really happy if they'd had me for 3 seasons. I felt like that would have been a really nice time there, but they had me for 1, and then they had me no more." But she added it was a humbling experience. Alright guys, that's all for the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now I'm going to shout out some comments from my video on actors who are mean in real life. One user said, "I always give this analogy. Do you remember high school? Remember the popular kids? Were they particularly nice people? Not so much, right? Well, in the adult world, celebrities represent the popular kids all grown up. Of course, there were always a few exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, they were diabolical." That's probably a good way to look at it. And Theater Geek 82 said, "If I was Chevy Chase, I would watch out. Somebody may slap him back one day. Honestly, I hope that day is coming soon." And Alex Kaufman said, "Love the video. Can you do the most humble celebrities?" That's a very good idea. I will definitely pitch that to somebody. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Thank you so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. If you liked the video and want to see some more, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I will see you all in the next one.